So today we're going to start with a trade customer's box of jobs, and it's a Murphy DS602 from 1981. JJ Silber were the importers for Great Universal Stores, so it was done by the mail order catalogues such as Great Universal, John Moore's and the likes. I think they were $69.99. So lots of these were bought on weekly terms. Used the Uniden type of power connector, and the only real letdown on these is the squelch, which is wishy-washy. So we need to just do a mic for this. It's not come with one, and it's not a mic I have lurking, unless it is and I've forgotten what the pinout is. So just looking at this list, Murphy. Oh, it says it's Cybernet. So we'll put the. I was going to make a mic up in front of you, but we won't. It's standard. As standard as it comes anyway. So this is an unknown set. It says protection diode blown needs testing. It's been hand painted at some time, but nevertheless, if it wants sorting, it'll get it. You have to be aware it's self tappers on these, not the usual machine screws. So if these were lost, you'd have to be probably tapped for M4. So pop the lid off. It needs unsoldering. It's all tatty, that wiring, so we'll cut it short. There's no circuit diagram for these sets that I'm aware of. It uses an LC7137, so there aren't really any surprises. Why somebody put a crystal filter in it? Well, that can stay, although we specialise in doing OEM, original equipment manufacturer repairs. As long as that's not wrongly done, in other words, when I test the receiver, as long as it works to a satisfactory level, that can stay put, rather than the ceramic type of filter, which is this type of thing. If you can actually see that, I should have different colour hands, shouldn't I? Right. Check it underneath, and if the protection diode really is blown, it is, and it's been bodged on the back, you know. It's so I'm not powering it up till we've sorted that out. Right, so that's got rid of that. What on earth have they put in there? I haven't got the foggiest. So I'm not going to replace that this second. I'm just going to remove it so that we haven't got the problem with heat causing a short across the power line. But you'll see me put one in later on in the video. Yeah, I can see the two legs. It goes upright. We need to solder that up. Right, so we'll plug the mic in. Plug the test equipment in through the aerial socket. the extension speaker in, which goes into the test equipment, and then we'll find wherever the power lead's gone today. Just use the crocodile clip. I'm just current limiting this for now. 9 volts, 300 milliamps. And it's lit up. So we'll go to 13.8 volts at 1.6 amps. So we're on channel 19. Is it my plug or is it the radio that's not always making contact? Yeah, it was about falling off. It's just fallen off. It dropped off in my hand. Right, I'll just fix this. Right, so we've sorted the test gear out, and it's now a matter of let's go into transmit. I'll switch feature and picture on. We're in the 3 watt scale, so when I press transmit, especially if I put it on channel 20, we should have somewhere around 4 watts. Well, it's certainly more than 3, it's actually 3.7. With this being a trade customer, we'll write down the parameters. So, transmit from cold 3.6 watts. Frequency, move the camera so you can see that. Especially if I moved it down a bit. One day I'll reset the camera positions. $27,79101. So we'll do that right now with the trimmer there. I mean, that wasn't off frequency, it was as near as, damn it. Just bring it up a little closer to 27,79125. 27,79123 toggling 4. Right. Look at deviation, go back to the meter. Wallow, 1.4. Right, so I've done charts before. I'm not going to look back on our videos. We'll just wade through it again. So I don't have specific instructions for doing the VCO because we've got no information on this type of set. So if we had a VCO problem, we'd have to work out a method. But I never had a VCO problem. So I'm just going to check it works on channel 40. It does. Check it works on channel 1. It does. We therefore don't have a VCO problem. Just deal with the wax in that, because that's going to be the VCO coil along with that trimmer. We'll just run through the transmitter, see if there's anything else to get out of it. That's definitely peak where it was. That was peak where it was. That was peak where it was. And that was peak where it was. Just make sure the wax is going to hold these in transit in something like the correct position. So it's 3.6 watts it is. So it's in line with a lot of new sets that don't go beyond that either. So we've done that. I would think that the fact we've got two together there, we're going to have one of those as S meter and the other of those as the transmit meter. So we're going to have S meter, RF meter, deviation, and squelch. You would think there was squelch, but I think that's one of the letdowns on these. So that must be deviation. Let's see. We wanted to come up, didn't it? So we'll get the little oscillator out. Wallet. Wallet. Why have we gone off tune? So we'll just try it there. Wallet. Yeah, I guess that's spot on. It's not always obvious where you're going to be putting the microphone, where that oscillator is, and to what the reading is from that to what the voice is. So that was pretty good. So it's now 2.2 kilohertz to a maximum of 2.5, an absolute maximum. Not like 8 like that Thunderpole T2000 the other day, which was transmitting on 3 channels at once. So that's reset. So one of those is going to be RF meter, and one of them will be S meter. So we'll key it up. So it wants to be in the centre of the red zone, and it's about where it should be. Just try the left hand one. Well, my right. That's it. Spot on. So the other will be the S meter. So transmit RF power meter, and that's the deviation. So that's so far so good. Now I have heard it receiving, even though the signal generator wasn't set. So I will just set the signal generator to 2779125. I seem to recall these sets have very clear transmit. So we'll put the SINAD meter on, and we'll put the camera on there. So right now, the set is as deaf as a post. Oh dear. So at the moment, why has the power gone off? RX is 100 microvolts for 12 dB SINADs. So that's an S9. And what can we hear it down to? 30 microvolts. Now, you can't change a crystal filter for a ceramic filter just item for item without alterations. It's different impedance. And as set as deaf as this, I would be thinking we've got a duff filter and it's got a crystal filter. So this could be one of those modifications that never worked out, like most modifications. We'll just check the detector setup because that could also cause that problem. So we'll just go over to the oscilloscope. And we'll just touch up the detector. So it's either going to be that one or that one. Not that one. That one, and that is set right. Just quickly run through these in case the tuning is stupidly out for another reason. Well, that made a difference, didn't it? Well, it's down to 10 microvolts for 12 dB. Now down to 9.5. This will soon be nearly as sensitive as one of those swish-looking cobras. So we're now about 3.5 microvolts, so it's not acceptable. So without touching anything, we're going to pop out that crystal filter and put in a ceramic one. They certainly got rid of the bleed over, didn't they? Because they got rid of everything. There we go. The other thing is these need to be 10.695s in CBs, not like in normal business radio. Now I don't know which is the input and the output side. I would hazard a guess though. I may have to look in another set. We'll give it a go. So this is one which I recovered out of a a scrap chassis. That makes it cheaper for the customer. I'm not sure whether that afterthought resistor is supposed to be there. No, we've got the sensitivity back. Just recheck the detector. So we're still not as good as it ought to be. We're at 1.5 microvolts. Let's go through that one as well. Being absolutely meticulous. Oh, it's quite adequate. I'm just being, you know, like I am, trying to be a perfectionist. At the end of the day, these are a cheap set. No, I think that's it. So we've got about 1.7 for 12 dB. We've got about 1.1 for 10 dB, and let's see what it'll hear down to. So here down to about 0.35 of a microvolt. So it isn't, you know, it's not way out. But that crystal filter was causing the set to be deaf. Now I do have to check whether that resistor is supposed to be there or whether it isn't supposed to be there. So that's my next thing. But there you are. That's typical of a modification that didn't work out. I mean, for that to come in with 100 microvolts for 12 dB SINAD, and we've now got it down to a not very brilliant 1.7 microvolts for 12 dB. You know, it's astonishing. So I'm going to have to open another setup, but I'll tell you what we'll do in the meantime, apart from undo the crocodile clips. One day I'll save up and buy myself a power lead. So we'll put S9 on the test set. So we've got 100 microvolts. Look at that, it's nearly spot on. Just going to pop it down a tiny fraction. There we go. Just check the squelch works. I like the channel 3 light. It's first set to do that in the UK. So yes, it works. let's see what it's doing on low power. So back to transmit. It's not adjustable on these sets. It's doing 450 milliwatts. So I'll turn my soldering iron off, and we'll come back to this later when I've opened another setup to just compare. So I asked my good friend David Quotagious if he's got a Murphy DS602 in his vast collection of CB radios, and he said yes. So he very kindly took 2 photographs, as I requested him to do, of the bottom of the printed circuit board, because on this set, which I'll just turn off, we've got this resistor. Move that light. And my question is, should it be there? When we look at the photo, no, it shouldn't be there. So when I look at this side of the board, and you start looking for parts that are missing. Now, this is a dangerous thing to do, because there's a lot of holes for different models. So looking, we've got the filter, we've got a resistor which isn't there. Just change my glasses. We've got a capacitor that is there. So if we look at this other picture, we have this ceramic. We have a ceramic capacitor here. So we've got the coil, the filter, a resistor, and in this set we've got a ceramic capacitor, another ceramic capacitor, the filter, and a resistor. I can't ask him to open the setup again and tell me what that resistor is. So I've gone into stores, I've dug out our demonstration Murphy DS602. And this is the trouble you have to go to, because somebody has altered the set. And this has come in, remember it was S9 equivalent signal to get 12 dB SINAD. We've got it down to, what did I say, about 1.6. And it is acceptable, but I know these can often work better than that. So I've got to try, got to clutch at every straw possible. So we'll look at my set, and hey presto, the resistor is there. Let's see if we can see what it says. It's 1K. So we've got brown, black, and red. It's 1K. I notice we haven't got the resistor on the back of the speaker on my set. And this is one where it's ended up with machine screws, M4 machine screws instead of the self tappers. Mine's a low serial number, it's 20014. So we've got, I think we've got a Rotel 240 in this batch, and we've got a Banditone 5-star in its original box. I think there's something else. Right, I'll put that on one side. So what resistor have we got here? It's 330 ohms. So whilst the soldering iron warms up, I'll go and get a 1K resistor from stock. There we have it, 1K. Now these are high precision. We buy these through the comp card system. They're excruciatingly expensive. If any of you know of this system we have, which has, I've shown it, we have components in fileable storage sheets, things like resistors and capacitors, but they're very expensive. But then ultimately I'm not paying, am I? Customers are. And you know what, that resistor I've just taken out, it's been recovered out of something, because you don't buy them when they've got paint insulation on them, so that's come out of something, which is, it's sad that somebody's scrapped something to do this modification. So I bet when they put this crystal filter in, and the set was then requiring 100 microvolts to do 10 dB SINAD, there's one thing, it definitely will have cured bleed over. It'd actually have cured anything except people within a mile. I'll get some isopropyl alcohol over that, and it's had the audio chip changed in the past, and we mustn't forget we've got that diode to put in. So once again we'll retune it. Put a bigger signal on for this one. Check that one. So again, I don't think it's really improved the sensitivity, but I needed to do that just in case it was going to. I mean, we've not heard any voices on it, have we? So we're still down to 1.5 microvolts for a 12 dB SINAD. What have we got for 10? About 1.3. So it's not the most sensitive set they're out there. It's receiving, again, it's about 0.25 it will actually hear. But at least I've done the right thing, and we've got that back right. So it just means this diode needs to be changed. Right, I've checked the tuning one final time with the bottom lid on. We've got the speaker connected, redone the wires, going through that resistor which is fitted on this model. That'll reduce the volume to the speaker, probably because it's not the right impedance, but it's a factory thing. Now all we've got to do is try and put this case together, plug it in the aerial. With it being a little less sensitive than some sets, we probably won't hear the burner brigade at Nottingham. How good. Right, we'll pop these self-tappers in. You know, it's amazing considering these were cheap sets. I don't always mean cheap in monetary, but cheaply made sets in comparison to others. And yet, they're still out there with a lot of wear on them after 40 years. So if they were no good whatsoever, they'd have been thrown away or shoved in a box and stuck in a cupboard a very long time ago. And this clearly has a lot of wear on it. So somebody's been very satisfied. Right, so we'll turn off the test equipment. The serial number on these, it lives on a label on the top if you saw mine. So this repair is probably going to be more expensive than any of his other sets, which is going to be interesting because this is the cheapest set he sent in. Right, we'll pop picture in picture off. We're long done with that. Well, I can hear somebody out there. 19 Roger. Helps them in higher power. 19 Roger. So I love living in the middle of nowhere because I don't get much interference from other users when it comes to any type of radio system. Well, no, Roger. Well, he's playing with different mics. I'll plug this into the extension speaker. Yep, that sounds great. Right, we'll do an on-the-air test with Mr. Chippy later on. And that's another set brought back from being very, very deaf. Thanks for watching.